This is me live on Harrowings. Your host, Hal Gill. This is the Passing Show episode of the moment. August 6th, the anniversary of Hiroshima, 80th anniversary. I've just been checking with the Exxon back here. My good friend Jamie who runs the place. And my car's not ready yet. He's ordered a long hose for the thing for its air conditioning. And I asked him if he would drive it to Philly. He says, "Oh, you're a big boy." I said, "Yeah, I've got AAA." So I don't know. He thinks it'll make it. I'd like to have it back by the 21st. I'm going to go up and catch the Who. Got a front row seat. And I really am looking forward to that. I was talking about that a little bit earlier. But, what's important here is that we are all co-creating this world. And we need to take personal responsibility for our part in it. And I just kind of... Jamie's 61. I'm 62. We've been around the block a few times. If you want to get your car worked on too, I recommend Jamie. He's a straight shooter. He's taking a little time, but he's going to do the job right. I'm going to pay him money, and it's all good. I'm so glad to be free and able to do what I want, which is to film the Passing Show as a flaneur, if nothing else, a boulevardier of Washington, D.C. So if you're with me, you're part of this whole show. And it looks like we've got a few joining. Lost Vibes 100, thank you for being part of my board of directors. Paid subscriber, Mark Robinson, Anna Walker, good to have you. As I was mentioning earlier, I do this largely to get some documentation of a primary sort, raw, unfiltered, as is, not edited, to just let people know who, what, when, and where, raw journalism, and be a primary document for historians of the future. Because honestly, all of this metadata about what it was here, Thomas Sweet, for instance, ice cream and chocolate, been here a little while, but it might go away someday. Many things have. There used to be a place called Commander Salamander around here somewhere. Down that alleyway was a place known as the West Side Club, I think. I don't even think you can see where it was. Smoky damn place, I understand. Back in the day, place, a recovery club, right? And I'm in recovery, and I like to talk about that. It's interesting to me. I think it's interesting to many people because so many people are recovering from something. Got an antique store over here, Town Wine and Liquor. I need to, pull up my education and conservation. I could be of real use as a contractor in such places if I was to hone my skills again in doing conservation work. Got beautiful stuff there, crystal chandeliers, and what all. Good for furnishing these old homes. Nearby, Potomac Hemp. Here we're at CVS Pharmacy. Good humor. Magnums. Delicious. They have caramel in them. Oh, it looks like they have caramel at the wall between 2 layers of chocolate over the vanilla ice cream. Good as that. It's a secret med spa. And then we walk on and on. Oh, yeah. Scott looks like a character. There are a lot of scooters about for deliveries. Home court buy, sell, and trade. At least that's closed up. Mondays it's closed for sure. Folks sitting outside Compass Coffee. Coffee Bakery and Kitchen. Mamani, NYC. Maman. Summer menu. Hmm. Is Compass still in business? Yeah, it's still in business. Hi. Beautiful golden back hair. Yeah. I need you to be very. We're at MM La Fleur. Yeah, MM La Fleur. Y'all. Excellent. There's the main drag through Georgetown, Wisconsin Avenue. Cafe Combale. Yeah, me song. I wonder what that's about. Anyway, Hack House. That place is for lease. Signed down. That was a wine and spirits store at one time. 310 Kitchen and Bar was the daily grill of the Georgetown Inn. What are your dreams? To rule the world, Madonna. Don't be a lady, be a legend, Stevie Nicks. Every Bad Situation is a blues song waiting to happen by Amy Winehouse and Risk the Fall to know how it feels to fly, Alicia Keys. It's nice to look back on your life and see things as lessons, not regrets, says Rihanna. I have some good quotes there, good motivational quotes from various artists who made it after a fashion. Here we have, you should taste watermelons, Mela, water. Then we have Martin's Tavern since 1933. Roald Dahl used to meet there with others of his ilk. So it has some history here in Georgetown, not just a little, a lot. There's a place down the way up here called Milano. A lot of people like to hang there. Fancy place. I don't like it. Went there once, way too loud. Didn't like it. Left it pretty quickly. Foxtrot. Foxtrot is gone. Has been gone for a while. Funny to think about. Veronica Beard, Citibank. Citibank's taken over that space. Okay. I think there was an Apple store right down here. I don't know if it's still here or not. See? Maybe not. There was also a Puma store for a bit. Curated by Cecilia. Oh. Out there. There's a monument to John Lutz. It was the home of John Lutz. Angel Women's House. Aged Women's House of Georgetown now. Oh, you'd be good on steps. If you're an aged woman at Georgetown. This is Kendra Scott. Ralph Lauren. Keeping on down. We got the sidewalk closed up ahead. It looks like they're painting or cleaning windows or something. So probably cross.
Daniel Creighton, 3-time Super 32 champion. Daniel Creighton, 3-time.
Looks like we got the count with it. Another coffee place over there, it looks like. Blank Street Coffee. New to me. I don't come down to Georgetown all that often. This place is closed up. I think it was Restoration Hardware store at one time. Oh, the Apple store is still here with the lights. I try to cross there. I don't think I need any Apple stuff right now. We do not have power. 35%. Looking a little low. So let's see. It's funny how much I enjoy these morning walks. It's a good time to sip my tea and wake up. Excellent. You've joined the night. Okay. Lovely to have you all with us. Mark Robinson, David Gross, Richard MD, PhD2, and DBA.
Yeah.
Allez, every day. Tour de France official products. Architecture. Oh, WT Weaver and Sons, designer hardware. Abercrombie and Fitch. Abercrombie and Fitch. Yeah. My old boss in Denmark went into them, as I recall. Well, Alleyway. Costs. Another dress shop. So many shops, right? Let's see. Yeah. Get to go. We do have the go. 35. And I head back down M Street and then back home. I don't know if my power is going to hold out that long. I'll probably cut the plastic show if I get down to like 10. I've got about 25% to go before I get there. This is PNC Bank. I've been doing my banking there since 1994 in August when I got my first divorce under my belt and created a bank account as I was a graduate student at the University of Pittsburgh, earning about 10 grand a year. But, it was enough to make it, enough to pay the rent. Had a little flat, cost me $195 a month in 1994. I get that. Talk about thrift. But I certainly was not as thrifty as I needed to be. Always buying books in particular. And I have a lot of books. But I intend to make money with them someday. I don't know. Pennies on the dollar, I'm sure. But that's okay. It's just part of my process. What am I thinking about? How we can be collectively better than we are as individuals if we unite, network together. Oh, those chairs. This doesn't appear to be anything aside from a place with some very nice leather chairs. And then across the way, you got Canal Square, Martin's. Yeah, Doc Martens. Walk on Air. Got some mules that help you walk on the air. Walking in the Air is the name of a band my local coach fronts. She also has been involved in things like Covered with Jam and so many others. I mean, I love Sonny. Sonny Tripp, one of my board of directors, along with Lost Vibes 100. So many others have got 3 or 4 recent additions as paid subscribers. I really appreciate that. I really need more of that. Keep doing this. Keep doing this cinema verite. Catching a little bit of the passing show. Oh, that's heavy. Going to be opening soon. Is that Jake Crew? Jake Crew. Coming late summer 2025. This is late summer. It's almost open. Rag and Bone. I hear some traffic behind me, so I'm going to break over. Allow the sidewalk. Then, watching my step because the bricks are loose, uneven. Barnes & Noble. I don't go to Barnes & Noble very often, but maybe I will stop in. How are we doing on power? Got 9 of you joining. Jenny Blue has joined. Thanks for that. Nah, I don't know. You should probably just walk in and film a little bit of what's happening. Old Stone House Museum and Library. This is like one of the oldest houses in Georgetown. Okay, I can get across. Oops. MC Audi. That's pretty like that. I don't know that I should like it. It's not open yet. That's all. You don't need to be in there anyway. Nobody hugs a cactus. Isabella Lende. I had an opportunity to go hear her speak one time, and Philly didn't go. I enjoyed having the opportunity. Was that right? Maybe. Crossways, the Junior League of Washington. National Book Festival is coming up September 6th, 2025. That's something to keep in mind. 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. My friend Genevieve usually comes up with her family for that from Pittsburgh. Genevieve is creator Appalachia Legend tarot card set I happen to have signed set. I also had some opportunities doing a little construction here or destruction, and worth checking out. Historically speaking, remnants of whatever was there. Okay, it looks like we got 30% power. Red Truist and 30th Street Northwest on M Street. Truist Bank, one of the worst banks I understand to deal with, according to my sister. My parents had banked there. Been, many different things going back through the years. Can hardly remember myself. Angola. Angolo restaurant. Angelo, I think. New Yorker and Barnes & Noble bags. Georgetown Veterinary Hospital. Sending an application. Georgetown Olive Oil Company. Love the peeling paint there. I would put those, photograph that, put it in the Peeling Paint Appreciation Society, which is on Facebook. If you're unaware of the Peeling Paint Appreciation Society, it's kind of a nice thing to appreciate peeling paint, transients of all things, documenting the decay. There's another opportunity. Now I'm confused. Where should I go? I should cross. Wait to cross. I can cross. Perfect. Now what? Shall we continue on M until we get to New Hampshire? That sounds like a good idea to me. So I can come across, no problem. Get out in front of everything. Everybody's beautiful in their own way. That's one of the things I'd like to stress, is that everyone, as Andy Warhol observed, is a beauty. Oh, it's great. I think I can channel Andy sometimes. Oh, wow. That's amazing. Isn't that great? Look at that. Look, just look at the surface of things. He would say he was deeply superficial. I like to think I am as well. Harrowings is about scratching out the surface, tilling it up, making creative soil for something to emerge. I've got a lot of things that have broadcast into it. We're growing a weed field, but a weed is just a flower planted somewhere, or a plant, or something, growing where you don't want it to. Its own accord. Its own accord. But boys, that's think of a jig. There we go. It's time to break out. There was a gas station over here, a Luke Oil, which was a Russian company. It's no longer there, obviously. And they're doing something to that site, building something on it. It'll be going up. I expect one thing after the other. One thing leads to another, as the fix said. So who I have with me? Okay, just same usual suspects. 9 of us have looked in. I doubt if 9 of us are still with us. Oh, we could go to the park. Rock Creek Park Watch. There's the information. I have a police car down there going somewhere. You have to be careful of watch our backs. Always watch your back. This is kind of pretty. Little benches. We're doing on power 27 onwards. So yeah, okay. What am I still I want to talk about? We can transform the world. We need to transform it for the better. Be good ancestors. That's one of the things I want to talk about. I have talked about. Continue to talk about. There are great minds behind us, and our large language models apparently can go out and ape them. So I did a lot of that today. I first asked C.G. Krishnamurti to assess the world situation. Ever the nihilist, or maybe he wouldn't call himself a nihilist, but an immediatist. That's my word. He was very immediate. But we're going to reach out and touch life, not just watching the simulation of life. Had to be in the moment. Just like a dog and a beautiful house. Swinging back around, looking at the life emerging. Interesting to find out what these plants are one of these days. Who these people are. This chap in his suit, looking like he's going somewhere. Probably a lawyer or involved in the law firm. You can hear a jet going over. You hear that? Coming out of National off to somewhere. You can actually look up on the map what the plane is, what its destination is, its particular altitude and speed at any given point on this trajectory, and follow it well beyond the range of sight. Lovely to have that capability. And so much could be done with it. I do very little with it, but I have it. And we all can have so much packed into these little phones. Amazing amounts of data streaming constantly past our retinas, more than we can ever take in. But that's the nature of being as well. So yeah, I had A.G. Krishnamurti assess the world situation from his point of view, having been dead since 2007. Then I had John Perry Barlow weigh in. I asked him to weigh in what he thought John Barlow would have to say, and Barlow responded. Then I had Christopher Hitchens critique both of them. Then I had Adams, Jefferson, and Franklin have a conversation about what they had said. And the 6 of them brainstorm solutions. And I prioritize those without reference to the attributions. And that was great. I came up with some tangible actions, and I'm taking one of them now by just filming the passing shows, documenting who, what, when, and where. I will type, depending on what his trajectory is to be, may well be instrumental in transforming the world. So the historic Rose Park needs your support as annual friends, the 501c3, you can deduct from your taxes. So we have something similar for Mitchell Park up by me on S Street, just up the block from Jeff Bezos' double mansion. And This is the world we live in. And these are the hands we're given. Use them and let's start trying to make it a world worth living in. And I'm quoting Genesis there from Land of Confusion from back in the 80s. If you don't know it, look it up on YouTube. It's worth the time. My generation will put it right. And they have a little puppet looking like Pete Townsend. No, denied. There we go. Score. Yeah, get me a basketball one of these days. Look at this little tight little basketball. Going after it. And his dad. I presume. Look at this tree. Life, the universe, and everything. I'm going to shows. That's what I'm doing tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. Going to shows at the Hamilton Live. I'm going to support some artists, including the son of Phil Graham, his band Midnight North, be playing with special guest Jackie Green. That should be a really good show. And, all those guys just really near and dear to my heart. First time I ever saw Graham play was 2016 in June at the first weekend of Unlimited Devotion. Wavy Gravy, good old Wavy, was in attendance. And Graham played Friend of the Devil. And I realized if I'm going to get home before daylight, get some sleep that night, I was going to have to head out. And so I left and drove back to DC. I was back the next year, and the next, and the next. And we had the pandemic. Then we had like a one night thing in 21, if I remember right. Or was it 22? And then we were back for another night. 3 nights in 24. 24? Yeah. And 2 nights in 25. And that was a blast, man. We had such a good time. I had a booth for the second night for my friends. A couple of guys I'd met the night before coming down from Vermont. And then my good friends from, I think, New Jersey, Tom LeMaine and his significant other, Mary Texier Walsh. And it was such joy to be able to be in their presence, to be able to vet them, as it were. Then we moved on. Back down to Washington, D.C. again. So many of those people were also out in San Francisco recently at the Golden Gate Park and other venues in around San Francisco doing their thing. Graham being here for the days between at the Hamilton Live is a real treat. That'll be Friday night. His musician crew, quite tight, including a drummer, a local guy, Nathan Graham. He's a friend of mine on Facebook, as it turns out. Nathan is. It's nice to tag up with those guys, actually, and be able to bask in their presence. But not necessary. I don't need to inflict myself on anyone, except those who volunteer to have me inflict myself on them. Like you guys. I have Lee Bird Mystic, Michael Patrick O'Leary also joined. That's a total of 11 besides me have been tuned in to this version of the Passing Show on Harrowings Live with Hal Gill, your host. And I'm grateful to have everyone here. Grateful to have anyone pay any attention to anything I have to say. Feel free to say things yourselves. That robe guy usually does. He said earlier, it's funny how much I enjoy these morning walks Laughing out loud, it is a good time to just sip my tea and wake up. Laughing out loud. And it is. It is what it is. Raw journalism, primary documentation for historians of the future, undeniable. And it's the verite because there's nothing really done to produce it beyond turning the camera on and talking into the microphone as I make my way from dawn to dusk, and then sometimes from dusk to dawn. So I need to get back to my friend, um, Jen, because tonight I'm either going to just open up the camera on her when I see her at a fundraiser for Jenny's Ice Cream Social at 14th and U for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And my friend Jen has lost both her brother and shortly thereafter her mother to suicide. But she goes on, and she's my inspiration for doing what I call a gratitude list, where I say I'm grateful for X, Y, and Z, and try to stay in a space of gratitude. You can be grateful for your nerve endings and the opportunity to experience pain. So you know that. You know that you can be grateful for your suffering, for your grief. Grief is love. That's what the feeling is. It's love for someone who's absent. And we're all absent at some level or another. Even while we're alive, we can grieve our old friends we haven't seen for a long time. Earlier, I was talking about Danny and Jill showing up at the wake, out in front of the courthouse of 1770 in Columbia, Williamsburg for my father when he passed away. And on April 11th, I invited folks to join me. And one did, Baxter Harding, who is a Irish musician and farmer. Raises horses as well, I believe. And, Baxter's just a great human being. A lot of people don't like him too well. Probably for cause, but, people make mistakes. People do things. Sometimes people are not necessarily truth tellers, but Baxter's a straight shooter as far as I'm concerned. And he's a person of heart, right? He cared enough to spend time with me the day before my father's funeral when I would deliver his eulogy. And then I got out of Dodge, left Williamsburg after making sure that Tom Marshall played Bach's Toccata and Fugue on the Williamsburg United Methodist Church's organ, Toccata and Fugue in G minor. My father's memory. My sister slipped a piece of paper to me saying, "Make the music stop." Couldn't do it. He's going to play it all. You put the quarter in the jukebox, you got to listen to the whole tune. And I had some nice things to say about Dad. And then I, met some people who were there to honor his memory, and they got a pretty good turnout. I really was very touched. Steve Wallace Gussler and Bill White, Terry Shackelford, Jan Bomar, all old friends in one way or another who we've had history with. Carrie once fired me from Lantern Tours because I didn't show up, and I had forgotten I'd spaced and I made a mistake. That's like the third time. And it was a bear cop. Didn't fire me from Colonial Williamsburg entirely, though apparently that was possible. What else do I want to say about all this? Well, I bugged out after that really rapidly, dropped my mom off, made sure she was at home. Breaks my heart, in some ways, but I needed, for my own sake, to get home to Washington, D.C. and see the Marco Benevento Trio at the Black Cat that night. I went up to the bassist afterwards and said, "Hey, Karina, I'm Hal." And she's like, "Dude, I know who you are." And it was so nice. If you don't know who Karina Reichman is, look her up. Rykman. My wife calls her bubblegum bass girl. But she's a hoot, and she gives a hell of a performance. Always, always, all stops out now. And that reminds me of Imogen Heap and Daylight Robbery, a tune in which this line all stops out, like on the organ. I played Toccata and Fugue in G minor at my father's funeral, looping back. But Daylight Robbery has this great energy to it. Don't mind me just passing through, passing by. Girl with the balloon. Good, it looks like we're the only ones around. I don't remember what's the lyrics, but the idea of all stops out, arms stretched out, to embrace life. It gets me every time. As our Ukrainian bard, Spirit of Independence for Ukraine, that monument. Something to think about. There's an active peace process, at least ceasefire negotiation going on. Needs to happen, folks. You got to stop bombing each other, regardless of what we belong to. Got to get a handle on the violent tendencies of our government and our economy, because you know who produces most of the weaponry. We do. And we need to stop it. I don't know how to stop it entirely. I tried. Starting in 1983, I tried to declare a universal disarmament for all humanity, and that we had to work out our problems as adults. I was only 20. I know. They can't do that. It doesn't work because people don't listen. Primate behavior. Know what I'm saying? Primate behavior. We're better than that, though. We can do it. We have the tools, we have the abilities. We just need to get a handle on our homicidal tendencies and our suicidal tendencies, for that matter. Because when I kill you, I kill me. That's a good thought. I should keep walking and talking. Where are we? On power, we're down to 16%. I'm going to try to plug in, maybe continue in the bunker. Crossing. It's very much a matter of making myself vulnerable. This is a monument to Tomasz Garrig Masaryk. You need to look up his whole history. I was presented as a gift to the United States of America from the Czech Republic in 2002. American Friends of the Czech Republic helped fund it, apparently. Some dried roses at his feet. He was born in 1850 and died in 1937. He's professor and creator of a democracy and champion of liberty. President of the Czechoslovakia during 1918, 1935. Oh, I've got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Yellow light. Made it. Here's the embassy of Estonia, another one of the freed countries that came into being in the wake of the fall of the Berlin Wall and the dissolution of the Soviet Union. It's not easy. They've recently redone the entire building, gutted it, and redone it. We're on the backside of the Cosmos Club. I was talking about that on my last edition of The Passing Show here on Heroings Live with your host, Hal Gill. That's me. Anything said, strictly the opinions of me. And, should not reflect on the Harold B. Gill Foundation, of which I am the executive director. But nevertheless, there you are. The Harold B. Gill Foundation is a limited liability corporation operating in D.C. since September 17th, 2024, coming up on its first anniversary of existence. Its main mission is to preserve, protect, collect, and promulgate the creative output of Hal Gill's, all three of us. My grandfather, who was a very creative man, entrepreneur, proprietor of Gill Electric Company in Orange, Virginia. And he did a lot of inventing as well. So I've captured a little bit about that. And I don't have a lot left of him. I do remember him well. I remember his sense of humor. And then I remember his darker side as my father and he went over the political situation in 1979. He died August 13th that year, just after my father and I left him, after spending a week with him while his wife, Catherine Elizabeth Jane, was having her cataracts operated on. And then she died the following May as a result of the treatment for colon cancer, which was successful, but the dye killed her. Have a stroke that they used to image the cancer, barium dye. And yeah, tragic stuff in a lot of ways, but we all go out one way or another. They were only 72, both. And I'm now 62, so I've got a good 10 years if I make it as far as they did. My father made it to 91, passing away April 7th, 2024. I was there on one side, my mother on the other, when I noticed a cessation of his breathing. And then his heart stopped. And I could see the pulse stop in his neck, just a few more beats after the breathing. And when the color left his lip, I knew he was gone. Would not be returning. Certainly, we didn't want to resuscitate him at that point. I think he had been resuscitated the evening before, but it was too late. And his consciousness had left. And that was that. Such as it was. I'd gone to bed early that night. I knew he was in the hospital and maybe he'd been returned home. I didn't hear when things started going south for him that night. Didn't hear a thing. Texts were sent, calls were not made. They could have gotten in touch, and they elected not to. But it is what it is, and I am what I am, here and now. A collection of experiences, impressions, some of them true, some of them not, personal fictions. It's all good. It's all good. Folks working on the landscaping there at the Friends Meeting House. I'm crossing against the light. It's okay. It's all clear. And what else do I want to tell you all about before I cut this? Because we are running out of power. Not much. At 12% power, though, so I might take you into the bunker, as I mentioned earlier. I don't think we've had any more join. 12 total. That's including me. Got a helicopter going over there. Looks like it's probably a police helicopter patrolling. Who, what, when, and where. That's what it's all about, folks. Raw journalism. And an ongoing discourse from me. Come by me, just cruising by. The girl with the balloon girl, it looks as if we're the only ones around. Big intentions. For sale. Penthouse is for sale here if you want to be my neighbor. 2107, I forget the unit number. 2107 S Street Northwest, Washington, D.C. And I'm in 2103. Oh, we've got the rose opened up. Let's photograph it before it falls apart. There it is. This rose bush and I, we've been together close to 15 years now. Lynn and I probably signed the papers in August. I know we did. She got really super sick right about then. There's another rose coming out over there. This one, just gorgeous. Well, thanks for joining. I think I'm going to cut it here so I can photograph the rose. We're down to 10% power, and as promised, this ends the live video.